In the past few years, these two names, Max and Hamilton, have always been in the headlines. Back-to-back, year after year, it's either Hammer Time or Super Max. And the fun thing is even the fans don't get tired about these two. So why should we? Here we go. Lewis Hamilton almost killed Max Verstappen in 2021. It's the 18th of July, dubbed by the Netflix series Drive to Survive. It's the clash of the Titans. Max is in the lead of the championship. It's looking harder for Toto and Mercedes to get back in front. Take yourself back to that year. The 5 lights go out. At turn 9, the fans in the stands are waiting for the V6 hybrid engines to blast their hearing going around the corner. The home favorite is about to overtake coming into the cops' corner. Max is taking the outside line, hoping his car has the grip. Hamilton on the inside touches the back of the Red Bull, and then black for Max. It's a crash. What do you think? Was that attempted murder? Well, you think what you want, but that's what Christian Horner thinks. Rushing away from the pit wall screens, Horner says, "That nearly killed our driver. I want him out of this race." And out goes the call to Michael Massey. "Michael, have you got a minute?" Christian goes on to explain how this was clearly Max's corner and that they are lucky Max has walked away unscathed. "I hope you're going to deal with it appropriately." Long story short, the appropriate dealing was this: hand Lewis a 10-second time penalty and let it fly. Race control restarted the race with Leclerc in pole. Hamilton served his penalty in pit lane, overtook the other racers, and got the win. And that's how Mercedes took the gap down to just 8 points, now with Verstappen still in the hospital from having just survived a 51G impact, while Hamilton spills champagne on his 25 points podium. Guys, it's not that crashes don't happen, but when everyone knows two guys are fighting hard to get something that the other one wants too, and they are both in the fastest mainstream motorsport on the planet, driving at the fastest possible cornering speeds, the reluctance of Hamilton to even try to leave the room or save Verstappen from spinning out is what drew this incident the most amount of criticism. Hamilton says this: "The rules are when your wheel is alongside the side part of the car, it's your line and the other car has to concede. And he didn't, so that's not my problem." Brace yourself for the British bias. Yep, you know this was coming, but the good thing is we have evidence. You see, ever since humanity put F1 cars on track, from the first ever Formula One race to take place at Silverstone to having the most number of Formula One drivers from any single country, Britain has always been the favorite. But the word Grand Prix comes from French, with most of the high-performance engines coming from Germany or Italy. So how did Great Britain make such a big name in Formula One? The answer is in the word garagista. Following the World Wars, England had a huge number of aeronautical engineers without a job. Many also knew a great deal about power ratios as well as aerodynamics. So while the big companies like Ferrari thought they knew exactly what makes a car go fast, these engineers in Britain were hired by racing teams like Cooper and Lotus on a budget and ended up making more efficient, more aerodynamic, and faster cars than the foreign counterparts. This difference in pace between cars coming from mere small garages and big sports car brands was so bullish that Enzo Ferrari called them garagista teams. And that's where Britain gets its reputation in Formula One. All good, right? Not really, because right now, most of the world has to watch F1 from the British point of view. Sky Sports is one of the biggest Formula One broadcaster, and unsurprisingly, yet naturally, all of their commentary is in the British accent in favor of the British drivers. Hamilton will be brought into conversation for the most random of information, while race leaders like Carlos Sainz, Leclerc, or Verstappen keep looking for the praise they deserve. For the past few years, a similar special treatment was also being offered by the FIA, which, thanks to social media, has now brought it under severe pressure to prove otherwise. In the 2018 German Grand Prix, Hamilton was excused for crossing the pit lane entry line first and then going back onto the track over the grass with no penalties. Similarly, in the 2016 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Hamilton held up Nico Rosberg in his championship deciding race when Hamilton refused to drive faster. Nothing came of it too, apart from Toto's comments like anarchy does not work in any team. And in the opening race of 2021 at Bahrain, the FIA was accused for changing the track limit rules mid-race in favor of Hamilton. According to Red Bull, Hamilton went over track limits at turn 4 29 times in the race, but when Verstappen used the same lines just once on lap 53, he was asked to give the position back. Race control said it wasn't for exceeding exceeding track limits. It was for gaining a lasting advantage by overtaking another car off the racetrack. But when Hamilton takes a lasting advantage by going 0.2 seconds quicker every lap at 29 different occasions in total, nope, race control can't see that. The veteran commentator Martin Brundle has also faced criticism, but more than him, David Croft is the one who has come under serious scrutiny from the fans for always being pro-Hamilton on a broadcast that's not just for British public, but for the whole world to see. And that's not all. The 3 times world champion Fernando Alonso, too, has testified for the British bias with always what I felt when I was racing. It seemed like I was the bad guy in Formula One when I was just trying to fight against normally British guys. When I saw the Silverstone thing, when I see what Verstappen gets with some questions, etc., I understand his position for sure. So this is not an isolated incident in this wonderful sport of Formula One. It's only getting less wonderful because of it. And add the Drive to Survive toxicity run by the South London director David Hayes of always displaying Max as the bad guy of Formula One, when all that the young lad does is happily let his stepdaughter Penelope annoy him while he does some sim racing, makes for another stain on Formula One's neutrality. It must be made clear, we do not dislike the 7-time world champion. He is a remarkable individual, and to be able to overcome all those moments of racism he faced in his karting days and then turn that into a passion for winning championships is not something everyone can up and do. But with fame comes a lot of different things, and this may or may not have the best effect on the drivers around you. Despite all the positive reinforcement, if I'm being honest right now, Hamilton is looking washed up. I'm not sure whether it's because he's leaving for Ferrari next season or it's because he's simply getting lazy, but his qualifying pace is consistently behind George Russell for quite some time now. The 39-year-old is the second oldest driver on the grid now, behind Alonso, and it is showing. His last pole was in Hungary last season, and his last race win was in 2021 in Jeddah. Will he ever be able to challenge Max for the title again? We don't know. But with drivers like Lando, Leclerc, Sainz, and many up-and-coming young guns like Ferrari's Oliver Bearman, the chances of a Hamilton 8th World Championship trophy are looking slim. And that's about it. Catch you guys the next time, and don't forget to have the time of your life.